of times I take things for granted, and I show things on the blog that, I feel that they might be interesting to look at, and then I say stuff about them, and I guess in a lot of ways I assume that that's understood. But in terms of how to do something, or where it comes from, or how it develops, it's harder to do that. And that's one thing I've been doing with the diaries, is to try to follow the slow process of a piece. But I think that there's another layer to a lot of these things, and that is where a lot of the materials come from, how to alter cloth, and how to put cloth together. I mean, they're all little basic things, and they're not always the same for each piece. For instance, this this piece has many elements in it. By the way, I often use nine things in a composition, and that's probably something I haven't mentioned before. But this is actually a kind of 9-patch composition. So I have this, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 6 here, 7. I have this, 8, and this is 9. And the reason for that is because 9 is kind of a good number. It's like a collection of things that is enough, but it's usually not too much. It's manageable, and I like to use it because it's just a good number in general to work with. So that's another approach to a 9-patch. I call it the 9-part story, but still, I'll talk about that later. So 9 is in a lot of the things that I do, and I know that I'll be talking a lot about that. But for instance, this fabric here is a cotton Ramie fabric, and I never worked with it before. And it was given to me while I was working in the textile industry, and I dyed it and did a few things to it, and I learned about that cloth, the way it feels, etc., how it dyes. So that in itself was a small journey. And this thing here is an idea that I had in considering weave, which has turned out to be a very interesting technique. So that, again, is a small journey in itself. And this piece here is a composted sheeting that I did some of my first indigo trials on, so there's a story there. And this here was an experiment in seaming, and so that's a small journey in itself. And actually, underneath that are all of these things where I learned how to do some resist dyeing to create these circles. So what I'm trying to say here is I very rarely go into the details of those things. And these are the kinds of things that I would like to get into as I work. And perhaps, perhaps you've seen stuff on the blog that you have questions about. And really, if that's the case, I wouldn't mind answering those in some detailed way and create a little small journey out of them. So you can see where what I'm getting at here. I really feel that there's just so many small journeys in what I call a small journey. And I think I've been using this stray idea to just create some kind of symbolic self-portrait feel, because all of these little figures that I'm using really represent a kind of traveling for me, the small journeys of life in some way or other, and that becomes symbolic, and symbols are really another element of the small journey. They're a component in my work, and I develop them, and they are another thought process for me. So I just wanted to generally talk about that today. I think really what I'm after is to actually take some of these small journeys in front of you, and perhaps you will join me. There's so many things. I mean, how to attach one fabric to another, how to piece, how to play with seams, how to create faces. They're all elements that go into a larger adventure.